my name is Gabby and I'm from All Creatures Animal Hospital. Welcome to our puppy talk. I've been doing puppy talks and puppy classes for going on a little over 5 years now. I've been with the clinic for 6 years. And these puppy talks I feel have been extremely helpful to owners, whether it's your first time or a refresher course because it's been a while since you've had a puppy. There's lots of information that you can get from this, so I hope that this is able to help you in any way, shape, or form. And congratulations on your new puppy as well. I'll start by doing a few different topics. So we will talk about potty training, health stuff. We'll also talk about grooming and teething and things like that. So hopefully there is a little bit of something in each topic that can help you make welcoming your new puppy into your home a little easier and more understanding for you. So as far as vaccines, we'll talk about, so puppies do get boosted vaccines just like children do. We try to keep their routine on a schedule of 7, 10, 13, and 16 weeks. So they get boosted somewhere in between those 2 to 3 weeks in between. And once they're 4 months or 16 weeks old, they're done with all their puppy vaccines. They get one vaccine called a distemper, which is actually a combination vaccine that has distemper, hepatitis, lepto, parainfluenza, and parvo. There is also another vaccine that we do, which is called Bordetella. A lot of people relate it to kennel cough, but it actually does more than just kennel cough. It does help cover a variety of upper respiratory vaccines, which we now call CIRD, which is canine infectious respiratory disease. They get 2 rounds of that vaccine, and then they also get rabies somewhere between 12 and 13 weeks. So, depending on where you got your puppy, whether it was from a pet store, a private breeder, the Humane Society, who looks through your vaccine records, see what's been given and what they're due for, or if they're done with all their vaccines, and we let you know at your appointment. With those vaccines being given, they do get those vaccines boosted until they're 4 months of age, and then once they're finished, typically around the time that the rabies is due in about a year, they will get their first yearly vaccine. So once all the puppy vaccines are done, you're good for a little bit, and then it's on a yearly basis. So really, while they're a puppy, you're doing more frequent visits to the veterinary office, but then after that, it's like every 6 months. We do recommend you coming in for a semi-annual exam every 6 months. For these guys, just to make sure that there's nothing that we're missing in between. There's lumps and bumps that could come up. There could be questions that you have. So bringing them in for a semi-annual exam every 6 months, just like we're recommended to do, is super important for these guys. Another thing that we do recommend you come in for your first time, we typically recommend a fecal float, which checks for any internal parasites, which these puppies are super common with being susceptible to. They can get it from their mom at birth, so we do recommend doing those fecal floats. That can depending on where you get your puppy from. Some breeders do fecals before they come to your home, and some humane societies do as well, or do deworming, so we'll let you know what's recommended. But we do recommend that too with your yearly once a year, just to make sure that there's nothing that they picked up that is easily picked up outside in the environment. We do also recommend getting started on a flea, tick, and heartworm prevention too at this age. We do start them when you come for your first puppy visit. It's called Revolution, which is a flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. This is typically our go-to. There are some other products depending on what we have in stock that we may start your puppy on. But Revolution is probably the easiest thing to start while they're young. And it does, like I said, fleas, one kind of tick, and heartworms. It lasts for 30 days. It's a topical product. And then once they get to 6 months of age, we recommend 2 products. One of those is Simparica, which is a flea and tick preventative. It's a chewable, and it does all breeds of ticks. And then we also have ProHeart, which is an injection of heartworm prevention, and that lasts for 6 months of age, or lasts for 6 months and is done at 6 months of age. So it kind of lines up with your semi-annual and yearly. So this is great product to give. Having the Pro Heart, you know, you don't have to worry about giving something monthly. We understand everybody gets busy. We ourselves in the field, you know, understand how it is to sometimes forget or miss a dose, but heartworms are super important to protect these guys against, because even if your animal is living at home, inside, rarely goes outside, they're still at a risk to get heartworms. Heartworms are transmitted through mosquitoes, and just like I think we can all relate that even when we're not outside a whole lot, we can still end up with mosquito bites in the house because they somehow get in to our homes or apartments. So they're not 100% protective just because they don't go outside. So super important to get these guys on a regular heartworm prevention. It's extremely costly to get them treated for it if they do happen to get heartworms. And we do also recommend and require you to do a heartworm test every year once they get to a year of age to make sure that they're good before we continue to give heartworm prevention. Flea and tick medication, the same, staying on top of that prevention. The Simparica, like I said, you can start at 6 months of age and giving this monthly. There are lots of other products out there on the market, so if you've used different products for heartworm, flea, and tick prevention that you would like us to ask questions about, you can definitely do so. We do have an online pharmacy with our clinic called Vet's First Choice, and you can order these products online to be shipped directly to your house. We don't carry a whole lot of products in stock, so if there is something specific you may be looking for, you can gladly call us and we can let you know if we have that product in stock. But if that's the case, if we don't, then we would direct you to the online pharmacy. In regards to anything else as far as vaccines and stuff, that's pretty much it. And then you do need to keep up with those vaccines on a yearly basis. So even though, like I said, with fleas, ticks, and heartworms, you know, if you're not outside a whole lot with your pet, or, you know, you only interact with dogs, you know, there's still that potential for them to get upper respiratory diseases or different things, because there are some of these diseases that are airborne. So it's super important to make sure that you're staying on top of your vaccines, as well as the flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. I can't stress that enough. It's to make sure that these guys are protected, and also that the rabies is required by law in Georgia, so that is something that you do need to keep up with too on a regular basis. Cost, you know, is definitely you know, always something that people worry about, just because, you know, you get a puppy and now it's like having a child. There's lots of things that you need to keep up with on a monthly and a yearly basis. We do offer wellness plans. So we have our Pet Lead plan, which breaks everything up into monthly payments to help you guys. I love the plan. I've used it for my personal pets even. It gives you unlimited office calls, and there's a flat fee that you pay every month, and it includes all the vaccines. You can even include the Pro Heart Heartworm Prevention included with that. And they also have ones that go on age, so as your puppy gets older, you can transition to the adult plans and eventually the senior plans. So it's something that we offer that's great. It's extremely helpful. We have a lot of clients that are on it. So if you have any questions about cost, you can call the clinic, and we can go over the cost for you if you wanted to do that for your pet. And this does also include our spay and neuter packages, which is great as well. We do recommend spaying and neutering these guys between 6 and 9 months. So it is healthier overall to get these babies spayed and neutered as soon as possible. So for females, you get them spayed. For males, you get them neutered. It reduces their risk for cancer. So for females, it reduces their risk for ovarian cancer, mammary cancer. It also helps with some behavior stuff. As they get older and they go into their first heat cycle, they can start to mark. Sometimes their attitude can change, as far as sometimes there's a little bit of aggression, or there's a chance for either male or female to get loose in the yard when other dogs are in heat and they're sensing those hormones. We do also recommend neutering the males at 6 to 9 months as well. That prevents them from marking. Also does reduce their risk for testicular cancer and prostate cancer as well. We do recommend doing the spay and neuter between the 6 and 9 months, and we do also require that we do blood work at least 30 days prior, anywhere from 3 to 30 days prior to the procedure. Reason we do blood work is we want to make sure that organ function is correct, so we do a full panel blood work just like we would do prior to a procedure. So we do require that for our spays and neuters. Not all clinics do require that, which is why ours is a little more expensive, but we want to do what we can do as far as making this a very smooth procedure and making sure your baby is healthy. We also have technicians that are licensed that monitor the procedure from start to finish to make sure everything's going good. We do a pre-surgical ECG, which makes sure heart is functioning properly. So we do all the precautions that we can to make sure that the procedure is safe for your baby. And that is, like I said, again, recommended between 6 and 9 months. If you choose that you want to wait, you know, that is fine. It's just the risk for cancers and things are a lot higher when you let the female go into their first heat or you wait longer for the male. Just getting all those hormones in their system. So by doing these things on time, like is recommended, it reduces their risk for these diseases and also prolongs their life. If you have any questions or further questions, you can gladly call us and we'll definitely get into more detail if there are specific things that I have not addressed to help you make that decision. We're here to help you and guide you with whatever questions or concerns you have, just to make sure that everything is done properly for your baby. So definitely let us know. When they do get their spay or neuter, it is a day procedure, so it typically you'll bring them in the morning between 7:30 and 9. They're here for the day. We do surgeries depending on the day, either mid-morning or early afternoon. We start the procedure, and then we'll give you a call, let you know when your baby is awake, and then we set up a discharge time somewhere between 5 and 6 to go home. Pending on female or male, they may have sutures or just gluture, and we typically recheck them 10 to 14 days post-surgery just to make sure everything is healing properly and is good. We send your babies home on some pain medication for a few days, but they are extremely resilient. I personally had abdominal surgery and I was out for 3 weeks, but with dogs having any kind of procedure, they are typically back to normal that same evening or the next day. So the biggest part for you at home is to have to keep them calm and crated, so that they're not doing anything to irritate their incision anymore, so that they can have a fast recovery. And they'll also have their Elizabethan collar on, or the cone of shame, for 10 to 14 days. But other than that, recovery is pretty normal. You know, you just want to do minimal walking just to go to the bathroom and just try to keep them calm the best you can through those 10 to 14 days until we clear them and take sutures out or make sure that everything is healed properly. We do have sometimes owners that are planning on going on vacation that can board their animal, and we'll do the spay and neuter and take care of them for the first week, so you're more than welcome to do that if that's something you wanted to line up. Some people prefer to do it on a Friday where they have the weekend with their pup to make sure that everything is going good and they can be at home to spoil them a little more. These guys are extremely resilient, so they do extremely well for these procedures. It does not change their attitude in any way, shape, or form. It does not affect the way that they grow by doing it between 6 and 9 months. And also for bigger dogs, I know sometimes online they will recommend that, especially for large breed dogs, to wait until they're at least 18 months of age. I had a Great Dane that I neutered at 6 months, and it did not stunt his growth or change anything about him at all. He grew to be 160 pounds by the time he was a year and a half, and he lived a great life up until, you know, he was 5 years of age. But other than that, you know, for other issues that he got sick that was related to his heart, but he did perfectly fine. There were no issues in regards to neutering him that young. If you're considering breeding, we can definitely help you as well. It is not, you know, something that is recommended, but if that was something you're curious about, we can gladly give you any information on that, and to kind of help you in what decisions you need to make, whether you have the male or the female when it comes to breeding. As far as health stuff, that is pretty much the basis of it, just making sure that you're staying on top of your puppy boosters, and then also as they get into adulthood, making sure that you're doing their vaccines at least every year. As they get older, there are some vaccines that can be a 3-year vaccine that we can talk about at that time. Also make sure you're on top of your flea, tick, and heartworm prevention as well. That's super important for these guys, so at least every month until they're 6 months of age, and then you can inquire about getting the Pro Heart and Simparica. And then also when it comes to that 6 to 9 month mark, getting them spay or neutered. We do hand out information on the spay and neuter, and also cost estimates when they're finished with their vaccines, with all their puppy stuff. So if you haven't received that or you misplaced it, you can definitely let us know and we can send it to you as well. There is some information in this little puppy pack that we sent home with you that does talk about the spay and neuter as well, the importance of that. So you also have that available to you if you have any questions that could be answered in the packet.